It was really great to be involved with the Asset Management and Maintenance Conference. I think this is just such an incredibly important issue for the whole of Australia. I think in the past we've only thought that this issue is relevant to the really big companies, the mining companies and the mineral processing companies. But actually it's relevant for everyone, even universities which have assets which we're desperately trying to keep up to date and manage. So it's great that there's a conference like this where all of the issues can be put on the table. And I think perhaps one of the main values of it is that lots of sectors come together and actually share ideas. And I know the sessions that I've sat in on, I've actually picked up ideas, from electrical generation companies. How does that relate to the university and how can that be applied? And I'm sure there's lots of people that are thinking exactly the same. I'm learning a lot, but I'm learning them from places I really didn't expect to. So I think this is a fantastic conference. It's become a very important event in the annual calendar of the university, and I just can see this going from strength to strength in the future. So I was really pleased to be here.
We started this conference last year. There was huge response from the industries and also from communities. We had more than 110 delegates last year. This year again, the support is very good and number of delegates are more than 130. So what we are telling, asset management and maintenance are important, and that makes a difference in the bottom line of the companies. We talk about reducing the risk and also how to reduce the cost. So our expertise in the quantitative techniques for risk reduction is getting lots of attention, and we hope with the infrastructure, railways, power plants, roads, everywhere these things can be applied and will make a definite benefit. Gladstone Power, QAL, Rio Tinto, Port, railways, lots of industries are in this conference and they are from different backgrounds. This is not just physical asset management. Other areas covered are human assets, financial assets, information assets, and also some intangible assets. So what we're trying to tell the delegates that the message what you are getting, take it back and try to implement that in your own organization and make a difference.
I'm one of the participants in the development of the Asset Management Systems course, and we've put a lot of effort into developing quantitative techniques that can be used in asset management. So we're very strong in being able to express risk in quantitative terms, preferably in monetary terms, and also in costing various aspects of the expenditure of plant life. And by being able to quantify all aspects of the operation of a plant, it allows the owners and operators of a plant to make sensible decisions about how they're going to operate, maintain and acquire and dispose of assets.
I think here in Gladstone the concentration of industries and critical assets are significant importance to the economic benefit of Australia, and we've got to make sure that we maximise the value of those assets to this as a nation. Along with that, we've also got to manage those assets in an environmentally and safe manner so that we are good corporate citizens, and asset management is a foundation for that. And this conference is helping build a good connection between industry and academia in that key area of asset management. So I think it's very critical. There's a potential for us to become a centre of excellence in Gladstone. Well, we've been partnering with the university for the last 2 years in the area of asset management, and that bore fruit last year with the first of these conferences, and that was critical to getting academics and practitioners together in the one place, talking to one another, understanding what's happening in each sphere, and trying to come up with common elements where we can all work together to get more cost-effective and more sustainable outcomes for our assets.
Really a better learning process of asset management. I come from an engineering background and middle management. All of this stuff that we're talking about this morning is relevant because I've been through it before. But it's convincing my fellow board members, if you like, councillors, that the systems that need to be put in place regarding asset management should be put in place, and they should have priority up there with when we do a budget every year. So that's what I'm here for, to try and learn and then be able to take back to my fellow councillors the importance and have it lifted in the organisation of asset management. The university has the innovation in the asset management area, and we can tap on that knowledge, and hopefully they can learn a little bit more about our organisation and be able to feed back the information that can best serve our needs. Yes.
While I'm here today at the conference, I really wanted to find out what is at the forefront of current thinking in asset and maintenance management. Such an important field in the industry that I service, the electricity industry. The electricity industry is very what's known as asset intensive, and by implication capital intensive industry. A lot of money tied up in the electricity industry in all its sectors, in generation, transmission and distribution. Each of those areas invests enormous sums of money in their assets. And so the management of those assets is a crucial activity to deliver good service to their customers. The key observation for me today was the presentation brought by Shuey, otherwise known as Glenn Shoemaker, the manager of Gladstone Power Station. And that's the importance of a continuing education program for board level representatives of the management of the company. The education process is required because often non-technical people in the board are not cognizant of the asset management issues. First of all, there's technical issues surrounding the operation and maintenance of the plant, but there are very significant asset management issues that it's important that the non-technical people leading the company need to be aware of.
Hello, I am Professor Ajay Kapoor from Swinburne University of Technology. This is the second time I am coming to this conference, and I find it very, very useful. This time I got my whole group come over as well. And the advantage I'm finding is that you can interact with railway industry people, and that interaction is very good for us because then we know what the real problems are. Students begin to see what the real life is like for the railways, and then hopefully the railway industry can also benefit by some of the work that we are doing. So many thanks for organizing this conference, Gopi, and look forward to many more very, very successful conferences in future.
From a number of perspectives, this conference is a good idea, but the primary one would be that I think it supports the ongoing movement that is suggesting to the community that asset management is a good thing for the community in general. The way in which we design, operate, maintain, look after our assets, without question, is becoming increasingly important to not just individual organisations but society in general. And so the way in which we do that, I think, is certainly the tools and techniques and the knowledge and understanding of the way in which we do that is extremely important. And this conference is just is in many ways just another one of that series of progressions that Australia and internationally we need to make, where we not just explore what asset management is, but where we it's part of the delivery of the message that good asset management can make a significant difference to the community. Certainly from the Asset Management Council's perspective, there are three fundamental key elements. One is the processes, tools and techniques, which is more like a technician or an engineer or financial person would use in order to make decisions in relation to how they should look after assets. That's one aspect. And these conferences and many others, fulfil that need. The second and third aspect relates to culture of the organisation that puts asset management in place, and the third one is part of that triumvirate, leadership. We need people that understand the nature of and the content of asset management, and we need people that can talk about asset management in a positive way. So we need leaders not just in the community, but we need leaders in organisations as well. Culturally, without question, asset management cannot work. You can't look after assets well if you don't have a culture that suggests it's a learning culture. Learning culture means where people both understand what the direction is, they understand what their role is in that direction, their individual role, but they also have the ability and the wherewithal within that community of practice to challenge what's being said, to exercise their ability to think about why are we doing this, are there better ways of doing this. So it's all part of that continuous improvement. So that you need the processes, you need the culture and the leadership. Without those three, asset management can't work, like many other business activities as well. But so asset management is not different to any other business but activity, but it still needs those three elements of a stool, or however you want to describe it. In the dissemination of the knowledge of the tools and techniques and the standards and all those things which we heard just before lunch in relation to the asset management course that the university runs. In relation to culture and leadership, I go to the leadership second. Again, the very fact that the university is involved in putting such a course together demonstrates some leadership in relation to saying to the rest of the community, these things are important. This asset management thing is actually quite important, not just for individual organisations, but for the community as well. And also developing leaders in other organisations, I think, is one of the key roles as well, as you can tell. Leadership just is in this sense. Whilst the course that you're running here, as an example, required significant leadership from the sponsoring organisations and the university. But part of the challenge, of course, in all these courses is not just the technical issues, but evolving and training and evolving those individuals who are going to take the future leadership roles in those organisations in relation to asset management. The third part is the culture. Culture, the university can't directly affect the culture in an organisation. That's for the organisation to look after. But what it certainly can do is talk about what makes a good culture in terms of asset management and describe that and talk about that. And so that the individuals go back to their organisations, can look at the culture in their organisations, and hopefully will have enough information and confidence from doing courses and attending these sorts of conferences to start making a difference.
Well, asset management is very important in most companies' lives, and you'll actually see in the presentation I'll deliver later that something like 80% of the money that's input into a business is actually from maintenance and operational expenditure, and a very small change in that can make a very big change to the success of a business, one way or other. Fleur, in its current operations, spends over $3 billion worth of our clients' money on maintenance, and we understand the impact that can have in the success of the business, the production of the asset, and the economy of that production. I've been involved in asset management and similar activities for over 30 years now, and I've been involved with the Central Queensland University on and off for about the last 15 years, and was involved in the original establishment of the maintenance management courses here. The interesting thing is some of the things we're talking about now are identical to those we were talking about 15 years ago. And the problem that we see in our business is that the lessons never get learnt. They're always forgotten. You're always having to re-educate people and recover the ground that we've learnt before. And the value of continuing education, and particularly in asset management for engineers and engineering-related people, is to try and embed that learning, so we don't keep having to go back over the same ground again. Now, let's get it right from the start and make it the way we do business in all Australian industry.
Asset management is important to business because it actually delivers value. Asset management also manages risk, and it's a key enabler for business to be profitable in this day and times. Since 2006, I've been involved with Rio Tinto's initiative to improve its asset management capability, which has been a strategic initiative to improve profitability and also the utilisation of our assets. QAL is a major employer within the Gladstone region, and as such we think it's important that we contribute to both the region and CQU as a facility to assist in the development of asset management professionals.